Raze and Sova play the middle of the map so they can fast rotate in. And that's a huge camp.
And the paranoia to make sure nothing goes awry.
Cage triggered.
FRC Vols, the spike is going to slowly make its way over to B, but G2 already has its defenses. What's the window that they're looking for here? Looks like they're going to be able to get the spike down without any contest, undisturbed. And if nothing else, a little bit of financial gain for the attacking side.
Very cautious play from G2, allowing the bomb to get down, setting up the retake.
They're historically very disciplined.
Look at how slow
Showing
they're
a ton
taking
of
this.
respect to their opponents, and then they strike when everything is perfect, and that's exactly what Leaf has done.
They should be aware of market. There it is, Jonah. Cleaning the round up. G2 clean. Anti-eco round. And Raze Rocket already online for the likes of Leaf. And that's why they're putting him in this mid-rotation spot, so he's able to be at the fight faster. Cleaning up all these kills.
The investment of the Phantom that we mentioned was perfect. You're right, 6-0 so far. He's got the ult online. Plenty to be happy about for Josh.
Yeah, he's all right in that one down. That one worked. Another strat in the book. Look, looks like we're setting up for an early B fight here with the Raze Rocket. Oh, and I think they're going to show Ruba here on purpose, and he might lean very, very early here to that A side of the map. Fainting where the Raze is already. Let's see if that comes to fruition.
And Dre, you were right. He's already halfway across the map.
There you go. Look, and he's going spawn. And that is all deliberate. Roomboing, showing where he is early. He's aware that MIBR knows he has the Raze Rocket, changing his position. But MIBR, understanding that, potentially.
Cover going out.
Or they're nothing if not stubborn.
Yeah.
Paranoia exchange for a dog.
Oh, but
They can pop out mid.
off the drone. Does he pop rocket?
He has 2 satchels. Discipline for now.
That's pretty wise, because even though you get that info, there's so many corners that you have to clear. And they broke that drone pretty early on there when it came out of that smoke.
Choosing to hang on to the payload for the time being. MIBR is going to lean over towards A.
Look at G2, just super worried about any type of mid lurk. This time, though.
I mean, they've got to respect it.
Yeah.
30 seconds
We
left.
saw how bad they got punished in the previous series against EG.
Oh, it's one found, but it's traded.
Down.
Thought he was going to be able to get away with more. MIBR countering here. 2v2, spike in hand. It's just a tap. It's just a threat.
Time's running low here, Doug.
If they can stabilize, they
10
should still be able to get the spike
Let's
down.
go bring bomb.
Planted. Last player standing.
And just as I say that, FRZ flicks right in time.
Ned in a 1v2. Bulldog in hand, no armor, not a ton of health. MIBR on the board.
MIBR taking the fight there to Net, understanding that he probably rotated in time since he didn't come up that lane. Catching him off guard. And it's small things like that that make a difference in these 2v1 scenarios and these 2v2s even.
Take a look at that play one more time.
Enemy remains.
Leaf just continues to perform.
Going 1-for-1 in that moment isn't that bad, honestly. It's still favoring the defense there. Trying to break through that post plant. And just so many Viper walls here at the A side of the map.
And the defensive one is super aggressive.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's a great shout because, again, another thing that G2 struggled with on this A side of the map against EG was the A fight that kept happening to them. So you're seeing so many small adaptations being made, but very powerful ones. Trying to match Viper walls.
MIBR with 3 mid, and Jonah Peace waiting just on the other side. You imagine there's a call for smoke and they lend and lean towards B. There's a smoke. He hears everything. It's going to be a fight on 2 fronts, but Net instantly falls. There's Jonah P. Leaf joining in on it. What a play!
Clinical. Off of contact. 2 people pushing through the smoke, but FRZ hasn't had enough just yet.
No, I mean, there's still plenty more on the other side if he wants to go back for it.
Oh my gosh.
He's gotten it down to a 1v2. Notice health. It's not great. And they're just sitting on the spike. They don't have to move here.
Oh, I like this
30
from
seconds
FRZ.
left.
Throws the
Cage triggered.
cage. Pops a little early, but
No, they know. Look, Leaf is already
Leaf
turning
is ahead
back.
of this.
Well, that was almost bad. Trent snaps on him, though. G2 get to a third. I think, again, Jonah P's positioning there, his playmaking, as soon as he hears they're rotating through, strikes. That's a gorgeous setup.
Yeah, and normally when you're in that position, in that top mid smoke, if he's alone, he's not going to go through, but he had Leaf with him. And Leaf right now sitting at 8-1 gives you even more confidence to make plays like that.
Yeah, it certainly seems like the approach for G2 early on this defensive side is you're okay with giving up mid, knowing if you lose some of that space, you still have contain on either side.
Yeah, and as you say that, they're already changing the pace. Leaf looks like he's going to get a little bit aggressive here in the mid area. Might walk out. Ah, great job breaking early cam. Gonna have to have MIBR use more utility or jump spot like they did just now.
Not a great buy for the attack. A Bulldog and a Vandal.
And look at this, MIBR definitely watched that EG game because they have gone mid. What is this?
Almost every round.
3 rounds?
Yeah.
Out of 4 so far?
But again, G2 are fine to give that space up.
Very, very aware now that this was a gap that was abused in previous series. Jonah P has the Soval. Don't think he'll invest it into this round, but if bomb ends up being put down on A, you might see it.
They have to suspect that somebody could have slipped the net here and gotten it Artzine's position. Trent, wise to it.
Wow.
Discipline once again on display.
And to make these adaptations this quickly with like a day turnaround
Is impressive.
it's very good. And that's what makes this G2 team so dangerous, right? Is that they are constantly adapting.
Paranoia got tagged a little bit. See some of the spits keeping them back. Remember, the buy wasn't great for them.
Yeah, and this is all just delay. They're showing utility, acting like they're going to retake, but it's all to set up Leaf here on this flank. And he's perfect.
And again, G2 strike at just the right time. Man, it seems like they're being... okay. It seems like they're being really patient with how they want to approach some of these retakes and stuff like that when they do get into post plants. But it's perfect every time. It's never rushed. It's never half a second late.
Yeah, and they're also waiting for the aggression from MIBR to see if they're trying to disrupt. They're ready for it, right?
Yep.
Not getting caught out by anything silly in this series so far has been G2. But I gotta say, Doug, you know, we had the pleasure of casting that match of G2 versus EG, and G2 looked phenomenal in the beginning.
Yeah, they did.
Can they keep this up is the true question and the true test to how good this team can be.
Against an MIBR that comes in a little bit more worn, already having lost a series on the day, having to play another one back to back. It's demanding and it's taxing on the mental.
It definitely is, and when you're in a spot like that where you've already lost a series previously and you don't have a great start like this, that could play factors into your head. You know, you might be doubting yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doubting, do I belong in Madrid?
Our team does not belong on this site. I mean, Trent just drops them. That was their spark too, and again, you see G2 comfortable playing in this push and pull. They get the kill onto the Raze, and then they take a quick step back.
There's that Soval off the tap of the bomb that I was saying in the previous round.
Almost gets RGL there.
And look at this, full control of mid and the flank.
They're just surrounded.
Wait, Leaf just satcheled over the trip. He has the timing right now.
Even if Trent or Jonah P destroys it, which he does, you wouldn't expect this fast of a swing.
Wow.
But Mazin gets him anyway. He gets them both.
Heroics from Mazin.
FRZ playing up close. Numbers in favor of the attack side. Trent weak. Trent dead. Valen joins in on it. That's another round for MIBR.
And just off of such a micro mistake, a timing mistake from G2, Leaf was past that trip. MIBR had no idea. Jonah P breaking the trip a little bit too early there. Allows Mazin to be aware. And then Rocket, can we just agree that Rocket is a fake goal?
It's gotta be.
What was that?
One enemy
Looks like he
remaining.
blew him up, but clearly not.
Mission complete.
Regardless, MIBR take that round, but yeah, that was such a great timing that Leaf had. Nobody was in the satchel sound range, right? He would have cleaned up.
Yeah. And that wasn't the first time that Leaf goes on a late flank. This time G2 wanting to put the aggression towards B main. You've got a paranoia set up. They're all there. Leaf has a guardian on this. This is going to be a little bit tougher, but they push forward anyway. Look at this right at their feet. Oh my gosh. Fallon with 2.
Down B.
No charges.
Although the middle of the map has been exposed. Mazine has crept his way into market. Fallon is standing right next to him, and he does not know.
Oh my gosh.
Snaps at just the right time. The third on the round for him. A weapon upgraded and full control for G2.
What a juicy nade from Leaf at the start of that round.
I mean, all of it. The call was great.
It even looked like MIBR was very aware that there could be a push. FRZ was spamming that
Spike
smoke.
planted. My ult's ready.
They ulted here in a 3v1.
Yeah, they really don't want to lose any of these up number rounds. They don't want MIBR to even think that they have a chance at having a clutch play.
And I think that's a compelling thing about this team is we've talked so much about they're disciplined, they're careful, they're methodical, they're drilled, they have all of those things which are good. Not sparing any expense in a 3v1, you know, things of that nature. But then they also do things like that opening play where they push full aggro, they send Leaf in with Fallon and everything. Like, there's so much depth to the squad, and it only seems like they're getting better with time.
Yeah, and it's exactly, time is the main factor here, right? Because the team that we saw, the G2 that we saw in the beginning of this tournament, looked very, very timid. Didn't really do a lot of the things that got them into the league in the first place.
Yeah, 1000%.
But now, you know, understanding who they are, we are that team. You know, this is who we are. We play like this, and taking advantage of that. Teams are scared of G2.
I mean, they should be. From what we continue to see, an early pit invested by Trent, shutting down the western side of the map. And if that's not enough, the Cypher Util going into market's not going to make things any easier.
So cautious about mid is G2. Leaf getting early info here on the A lurk. That causes Jonah P to come back, but at the same time, MIBR is working up into this market area. But look at this trap play.
There's all that util they're going to have to get through, and it seems like it's really not their concern right now. Clearing some of it out and then turning their attention mid. Trey, I feel like we've seen this before.
Absolutely.
Exact same setup. Previously it was net, but it's the same setup.
The spam comes through from Jonah P.
This time the Seekers are going to help. They're going to push them back for just a little bit as net falls. Jonah P still spamming on the receiving end of a stray. This time it worked for MIBR. What?
30 seconds left.
He just Kobe'd him.
Valen can still make a massive play here. And Leaf still has ult. 9 HP. Dancing behind the walls, and he hears all of this. It's a Phantom he can spam, and he wouldn't get punished, or he just waits. He buys his time, pops the ult. Oh, 13 seconds left. It does connect. Is there going to be enough time for FRZ to do anything? 6 HP, 6 seconds left. He's got to commit. Holds his ground. Trent is so healthy, and the Molly misses by the tiniest of margins, but the second time does not.
Wow, it was
Holy
like a
smokes.
heat-seeking molly from Trent there. And honestly, it did not have to get that close. Valen, maybe a little bit too confident on the re-peek. All he needed to do there was just jiggle the bomb.
Yeah, FRZ was also nice with it to get him to that point, but you're right.
What a comeback into the round from G2. And you pointed it out, that Omenal. That's what brought it back.
Oh my goodness.
Spike planted.
The tiniest of timings.
Nice! Let's go.
And that 2 HP being the difference maker.
I knew it, bro. I baited the
Look at Leaf sitting at 12 and 4.
And the hot start for the duelist continues, man.
Yeah, that's the second showstopper of this match so far. We're only 8 rounds in, going into our 9th. That's insane, man. Jonah P already getting to another Sova ult as well. These two have just been a dynamic duo right now for the likes of G2.
If you're MIBR, what do you make of the exact same hit? Yes, I know the Seekers was there as well, but when you look at that, do you look at that and interpret that as like there's not a ton of depth to their protocols and they're kind of reaching towards the bottom, or they felt more confident because they had the Seekers? What are your thoughts on that?
I truly believe that MIBR's game plan going into this was to abuse mid, yeah? And they used Seekers that round to do it, and it worked out for them, but in reality, G2 has made strong adaptations into controlling this area of the map.
Yeah.
And if I was them, I would understand that, okay, this playing aggressive in mid default, like into the defending spawn almost, is just not working. I gotta change something up. Maybe I should test out the A main area of the map. Maybe I should test out more of B main, and then go mid late, perhaps. Because right now they're getting nothing.
At the beginning of the round, there were pings on the minimap in the defensive spawn from the attack side. RGL has his ult too. Maybe they scale up that way.
Look, just early mid aggro again from MIBR. Just really trying to force it.
Same smoke, same push. This time they don't commit.
Cover going out.
But Valorant hears all of that. Drops the one way. He's getting a little bit overwhelmed.
Great trade.
Blinding.
Paranoia is not going to connect. Net patiently waiting, expecting reinforcements, and they are on the way.
Welcome to my world.
Leaf, again, pressing the issue on the flank.
Spike planted.
Throws a nade and goes back to market.
And it did push him back in a little bit. They're not going to be able to take that space though because of where FRZ is.
Exactly.
How do you dance around the pit long enough to maintain control? With utility all at your feet, Trent pushes forward, foraging in, finding the most prioritized target he could. Almost drops him. But it's still in play. He has to take a step back. That's going to drop the pit. A 2v2. It's just a tap from Net for now.
Net still has a cage.
He's daring the swing, but they're disciplined. They don't look. Not convinced of what's on the other side. Trent's going to have to do it on his own, and he cannot.
Wow. And I think had Trent actually killed Mazin there on that first peak, if he had committed,
It's a game changer.
yeah, that whole retake might be different.
Yep.
And the subtle change from MIBR into this round, yeah, they're working up mid again fast. But as soon as they break that market trip, they're going, sorry, as soon as they break that top mid trip, they're going fast in the market. So a small adaptation, because they understand that G2, once that mid trip is broken, are rotating 2 people to cover that mid area of the map. That leaves a gap, right? If there was 2 people on B, one of the people is going to come over, try to pick up that top mid.
Leaf with the op for the first time. Trained across the middle of the map. They have contacted up here the last couple of rounds.
Wow.
But this time they dog. The op shot does not connect. Artson very quickly pushing. Oh, almost accidentally catches onto Leaf. The nade does push him off the angle though. So many numbers here for G2. Early Paranoia is going to buy a little bit of time as Val punishes RGL.
What a timing.
The leader continuing to push forward though. They have not found enough space to commit to getting the spike down, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better. JZZ on his own. With a flash on the swing, buying some time, daring the challenge. The first one falls. No other util. They're going to swing him! And JZZ with the Red Bull clutch.
Now there's some serenity.
Heartbreaking for G2. It seemed like they did everything right. Net with a laser beam, killing everybody that peaked from default. But they couldn't close it out. And JZZ, who I was gonna call out, at the start of this round had 1 kill. Gets a nice 1v3. And these are the moments that break this G2 team down, is losing these up number situations, because again, they know they should be winning these.
Instant timeout called.
There it is. And I like this. This is a great timeout from the likes of Josh for his team. Trying to keep them in the game. Don't lose focus. Yeah, it happened. It is what it is.
All good, move on. Yep.
You're still sitting pretty nice here. 6 rounds on the defense. And we know G2, so deadly with Valorant's calling on attack. So this is a really great half they set up. And for the likes of MIBR, a great comeback. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like we've seen this before somewhere.
It's really easy too. If you're MIBR again, they come into this series having lost one, and not just having lost it. I mean, they got destroyed.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
Right?
Yeah.
For them to still have enough of a spark to keep this in competitive is impressive. They continue to show fight, and that's what keeps them down 2 rounds, and heroics certainly help.
A lot of success has been made so far for MIBR on this B side of the map. So I wouldn't be surprised if they think that G2 is going to read into that and change their setup. But G2 already ahead of the curve in that aspect. Look at that. They're expecting MIBR to change their strat.
Just a page ahead in the book.
And they have this better trap setup. It's going to be all off of Trent's contact, I believe.
What's the swing on this, though? I thought Valorant had a paranoia set up. They're surrounded. There's the paranoia, but it's a little late. They punish anyway. Net almost dropping both. But space has been found. Jonah P's left alone. He might be able to upgrade a weapon, but they know where he is.
Okay, he chooses not to commit the Sova vault. I think that's pretty wise into this round. But he did break the trip, so MIBR should be aware.
Chooses not to upgrade the weapon. He just tries to take the swing towards JZZ, and he's dropped. That 1v2 was going to be hard no matter what.
Last round.
And honestly, again with this A fight from G2, it just doesn't seem like the Omen Flash gets as much. It just doesn't get as much value from this right side, right? From this lane side.
Yeah.
I like how they were set up, but a little too antsy. They needed to give it more time. I think they expected a faster paced round from the likes of MIBR.
Now 3 rounds in a row for them as they continue to keep this competitive.
Seeker's online again for MIBR. On the flip side, you have Cypher ult, Omen ult, and Sova ult for G2.
All pretty considerable tools.
Jonah's not really in a spot to use this ult, so just playing the first layer of getting contact, a little crossfire setup here. 3-man market setup.
Yeah, they're showing a lot of respect, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
The drone is going to confirm there's nothing mid.
This is great IGLing from the likes of MIBR. Understanding that they went towards A the last time with the main pack, feinting it this time with the dog, and they're already towards B. Great IGLing right now.
Zine, the late lurk, invested too. They're going to invest the paranoia, drop it out towards B. Are they going to flip the map at this point? They have nowhere to go now. It seemed like they wanted to end A, but Mazine dies, JZZ does too.
30 seconds left.
MIBR are thrown into disarray here. I don't think they know where they want to go anymore.
I think they're second guessing, triple guessing, quadruple guessing themselves into this round, but ultimately they still get the bomb down on the B site, which probably could have happened at least 20 seconds ago, Doug.
Trent has pit. Valen has his ult too. Patience from FRZ. Lands the shots onto Leaf.
FRZ's been so clean so far in this map.
What do they try to do? They try to pit out and then play around it?
I think your best... I was going to say, I think the best bet is to Viper's pit into the B main area.
Last player standing.
Have those guys below.
Hey, Trent instantly got spammed, and Valen's going to find the same result. A 6-6 half. What's that, 4 rounds in a row for MIBR?
Yeah.
A great
Switching
response.
sides.
G2 letting it slip away again. Still a great half. That was such a big kill from Arts in there onto Ned. Had Net gone down, not gone down, numbers were in favor for G2. So a little antsiness coming from the likes of G2 and in those up number situations.
6-6 half. We're going to throw it down to the desk to break down what they've seen so far.
Thank you so much, fellas. Overall, good to see MIBR rally at the end there, be able to just make this thing into a 6-6 alongside G2. But let's dive further into this because there have been some great ideas here from G2.
I was kind of, honestly, big credit to MIBR for actually pulling it back towards the end.
It wasn't looking good.
No, it was looking less than not good. It was looking very bad. It was tough. Like, we pulled up a few rounds here. Early on, G2 were doing a great job shutting down MIBR in mid. That's what they were trying to exploit, and they took care of that. And then just a bit after that, some more crucial rounds came up here. This little, we're about to see there's like a trap play on an eco round, and G2 converting that then into the next round. We're able to break their economy off that eco round win, and it ended with that silly play with the Molly. But this string of rounds, it's like, okay, this is over. They break their economy, win that next round, and then their economy's booming, and then MIBR bring it back.
Yeah. It's super interesting, too, because I really think, especially after that timeout, after that eco that you're talking about, that MIBR ran out of ideas with
Yeah, you even heard Doug and Baby say that.
Yeah, I was thinking, literally, the way that this is playing was a game plan difference right off the rip, because I think G2 was like, oh, yeah, everybody walked up mid on us.
Yeah.
They're going to do the same thing, and we're going to be ready for it. So we saw, what, 3 rounds where they tried to go up mid, and it looked nice. I actually thought the execute that MIBR was trying to throw at them with the raise satcheling on top of the box to try to get net down and somebody peek down below was like really nice, but it just doesn't quite work. So I'm really curious how they managed to really recoup that, because again, after that mid push got snuffed, the eco round trap play that they threw at them, again, threw it for a loop. I wouldn't have had any more ideas.
Hey, well, they're going to need to figure it out here. 6-6, not a bad position to start from here as you flip the sides. Let's send it back over to Doug and Baby Bay.
A tense tie, halftime on Sunset. Still plenty of Valor to play, though. G2 now on the attacking side. See that Viper wall towards A, right at the very beginning. Very similar, very reminiscent to what we saw in the previous half, too.
Yeah, and MIBR with a very interesting wall here onto the B site. Very, very passive wall. Trying to cut the site in half and just stay alive for as long as you can.
Mid again, huh? This time it's a little bit inverted. The smoke, the dart, the swing, but MIBR already walk away with the numbers advantage as JZZ finds again the perfect time to strike.
And with this Viper wall, nobody should be dying from the likes of MIBR before the rotate comes in. And as I say that, Valorant almost gets a collab with a classic.
That is still healthy on this. Z and JZZ are not.
Everybody one-shot headshot for him at this moment.
I mean, he's outnumbered, but it's winnable. Can Net pull it off?
Taking his time on this.
Such a big pistol. Given it the stakes in the tournament where we are, he's careful.
Oh, this would be a huge kill. I think JZZ spotted him on the jiggle
30
there.
seconds
I mean,
left.
if you're MIBR, you don't give him ones, right?
No, you
Try
can't.
to double, triple face him.
Net is aware that this wall should be blocking him off, so he should be playing pushed up. And he just gets taken out by Mazi. Nice shots. Both teams running pistols in mid. Both teams ready for the pistols in mid. And that's a huge, huge round for MIBR.
I like the setup. I like what G2 were trying to do there. I thought it was very well done. But again, much like we talked about in the first half, once you get into positions like that, it's just about who's got the shooters.
Yeah.
And in that situation, it was MIBR.
Exactly, and honestly, Leaf had the one-up on first contact on I believe it was JZZ.
It was darted?
Yeah, he chose not to fully commit to the fight. He second-guessed his peak and tried spamming him through the wall.
This is big from G2. They're investing.
If I'm MIBR, I'm not expecting this whatsoever.
No, why would you? How long can they conceal it?
Oh, here's the punish.
But there's a trip that's keeping him back.
Barely survives. Info gained now from MIBR. That is a force round. And you already see the rotations coming in.
I think there was only one stinger that shot, so maybe they can still conceal this a little bit longer, but no, they've got to know that it's up now, and MIBR hold the line. They do not relent. They do not give up an inch.
And they just couldn't break the trip in the choke, Doug.
That's where you see the value of Cypher, right? And you see why people are starting to run him so much more. A flawless round for MIBR at just the right time.
Give me a moment. I need to sit back.
Poor Leaf, he was stuck in that trip for about like 10 seconds, it felt like. Not that long, actually, but
It felt like it.
you saw him throwing the satchels, but he just couldn't find it.
Goes here.
See if we can
Look,
take
he's
a look
tagged
at
the
it
entire
again.
round.
Yeah,
From start to finish from that hit.
he didn't get to play the game.
And I'm really curious if it was the likes of MIBR that maybe shot the satchel before it could explode the trip. Because there is that 1 second timer that the new satchels have that before it does no
Pop it,
damage.
yeah.
Crowd getting hyped for G2. Trying to give them some energy.
Blind.
They've got a stinger to play with still. And then 4 sheriffs.
Net's going to get first contact here in market, but there's a crossfire here. Oh, trip was broken. Great job from Net there.
A deafening silence across the map.
Oh, RGL definitely heard more than one footstep here. Let's see if the rotation will come through. Sky's already leaning here.
That seems like that's all it is for now. Ard's impatient, playing across the middle of the map with the Bulldog. Does that flash the queue?
Info gathered, but you don't know how many, right? And that's the difference between Sova and Sky. Sometimes you can hear multiple people trying to shoot the dart.
G2 have very quietly gotten really far up on this. They're ahead of the smoke. They know that there's somebody back there with the paranoia. The nade still at his feet. RGL continues to keep him back. He's been able to hold the line. How much more can he do? A second found. Now control gained, at least for a little bit.
Oh my gosh,
What a
Trent.
play from Trent, but they're so weak. Can he do it again? Valen is there. Trent will fall.
Last player
Valen on the
standing.
counter. 13 seconds left. FRZ is on the dirtiest of
10
flanks.
seconds left.
Valen finding cover behind the Jenny. Early peek, nothing found, having to guess. No real idea of where the opposition could be. As the spike ticks away, the steps are taken forward. Valen guessing.
This is all mind games, Doug.
Cam, Riot at his feet, and there's the spam.
FRZ's so patient.
Standing on the smoke, he spotted a shoulder. He knows where he is. What a swing and what a shot from Valen!
Oh my gosh!
The 3K from the leader!
Unbelievable, Doug.
30 seconds left.
And I said it, right? It was all mind games. Valen this time, stone cold confidence on that wide swing.
With a stinger.
And the stinger can be so deadly in this situation because it shoots so fast. The time to kill on the gun is very strong if the headshots come through. And they did. That's a huge, huge round, Doug. MIBR looks so solid up until Trent.
That 2K was everything.
Massive.
There's an op in the hands of FRZ.
There.
And it looks like Valen's about to find out. Yep.
Wow.
Remember, MIBR were in this position just a few moments ago, and it was heroics, it was antics. That got him back into that. That just seems much more difficult this time around.
Poison orb emitting.
And just MIBR just getting the first bloods everywhere on the map this round.
Yeah, and this feels a little reminiscent to the approach that G2 had in the previous round, right? They were very quiet, and yes, they were in bunches in the previous round, but the idea being similar, it feels like, Dre.
Yeah, and that's exactly why you saw FRZ pick up the op, which you don't really see Cyphers doing, but when you're going against a team that loves to contact, and to be fair, contacting is a great strategy, and G2, honestly, I feel like they really brought that playstyle into light. I know when I was playing professionally on FaZe,
30
we would
seconds
watch
left.
G2 and be like, wow, they just walk into all this space. And if the opposition isn't ready for it and they're not there, you get so much free info. But MIBR being wise to that, buying an op, holding the aggressive walk-in angles that we saw earlier. FRZ just catching him off guard. Who ops on Cypher, man? When was the last time we saw this?
Well, what's interesting, too, I'd love to get your thoughts on
10
this because
seconds left.
it seems like, or it feels like, Contact just seems to work a little bit more on Sunset. And I don't know if it's because it's a new map. I don't know if it's the design of the map, but this does seem to be more effective compared to other maps.
I think especially towards the A side of the map, when you have the Viper utility there, it's a lot easier to contact and try to take 50-50s. And 50-50s for attacking the side, you always want that. Because if you're able to win that, it opens up the entire map. So maybe then the mid lurk can come through, right? Then you contact in the market. Bunch of different things you could do off of those plays.
I do like this out of G2, given the extended time that they had at the end of the round, talk things over, go straight into a timeout. Just buy yourself a little bit more time to discuss the situation. Down 2 rounds on attack.
And I think what they're discussing right now is like, what are we going to do against this op? Because now you get to think, okay, is FRZ going to hold on to this? Are they going to give it to Artscene, who we've seen be very good with an op? And these are all things going through your mind. And when you're playing against an opping Cypher, it's almost like you don't want to shy away from it. You kind of want to find him, right? Because you can't escape.
No, you punish if you can.
Exactly. So maybe we're going to see another slow approach to this round from the likes of G2, trying to maybe find out where the op is, or potentially just going straight into a sight hit, not even dealing with trying to find out where the op is at all, right?
And maybe you get lucky, you find out where it is, and you're able to punish and overwhelm.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see how things play out. MIBR currently scrambling to get to their positions with some time to spare. And it's that same wall that we saw in the pistol.
Look at this from FRZ. The mind game, switching his position. I'm really curious. Is he going to go for a passive angle onto this elbow area?
Come into the unknown.
I wonder,
get aggressive here.
I wonder too if Ardzine was going to satchel him up somewhere, but that wasn't the case this time.
That would have been so cool, Doug. Here it is. That aggressive Cypher. He's going to have info on this line for most of the game. That allows MIBR to play this heavy and mid B setup.
This again.
What?
They tried to get a timing into the smoke, and it's disaster.
But you know what's crazy, Doug? They tried to get the timing, but MIBR pushed their own smoke first. Taking the timing to them. So aggressive.
Scout destroyed.
Dog only spotting one, but I mean, you've seen plenty in the round to understand where the threat lies.
Oh my gosh.
Putting a bullet between the eyes of Valen. But Nets are on the trade. The tough thing when you're down in numbers like this, Trey, is it feels like, okay, you've gotten in the middle of the map, you've gotten into the spawn, but now what? Right? You don't have a ton of space anywhere else.
Info gathered from G2. But you're 100% correct, right? And
30 seconds left.
look at what Ardzine is doing right now. He's backing up all the way into A, so this is actually pretty favorable for G2. They want this. This is perfect. A 2v2?
Yeah, you're equalizing numbers.
And they could be coming from anywhere. Spawn, B main, mid. They could be wrapping A.
And they win these
Enemy
fights
remaining.
out. They're separated. Net, a 1v1 on the site will not go his way. MIBR gets to 10.
And this entire round is just formulated off of FRZ getting that deep A line with the op, denying any type of lurks on A. He did not have to worry about lane the entire time.
I mean, he never
had
moved.
a trip there.
Yeah, he never moved.
Yeah, and that allowed them to play this heavy mid B setup that just G2 just walked straight into. I mean, isn't that crazy though? They're holding the smoke and MIBR are the ones that push in.
A step ahead.
And we're talking about shooters, man. MIBR woke up. Looks like a very similar setup as the last round. Not changing anything.
Well, they don't have to on the A side, right? They never
No
saw
way.
anything. A paranoia, a flash, a satchel forward, doesn't connect, but the Vandal does.
Oh my God.
And once again, a slaughter across the middle of the map. Spike out of hand. The one benefit is Leaf has somehow snuck his way into the back of the site. Maybe a weapon upgraded because surely Mazine doesn't hear him.
Oh my gosh.
One enemy remaining.
Quickly crumples though into a 1v3 with the Seeker in his face. Position given away. Spike not in hand.
FRZ pushed all the way through A this round.
But
As
again,
he should.
Again, they still haven't seen that setup. They still haven't seen where the trips
I
are,
have
the
this
cam.
fight.
They don't know when op is on that side. So MIBR are able to continue to conceal this setup.
Yeah, I do think they, now, after this round, they should have an idea. You know, like, even Leaf right now, like, he's gone through mid twice now, right? They've gone through the market, they've walked
30
through, and they
seconds
haven't
left.
seen any of the trips, so they should know at this point that the Cypher is playing towards that A side of the map. But now that happened, maybe a change of setup from MIBR, who so far this half have been very, very unpredictable. And it's catching G2 off guard, right? Pushing through a smoke dry. Now you're doing a pop flash through it.
With a paranoia too.
On the first layer of timing, yeah.
There were so many layers to that setup, and then the ult.
Catching G2 completely off guard with these, honestly, very aggressive defensive plays.
If memory serves me right, G2 have won one round since that 1v3. Just one. all the way back to that first half.
Something just happens with this G2 roster when they lose rounds they know they should have won. They have a hard time bringing it back.
They're still in this thing, though. Although the window of opportunity continues to get smaller. JZZ on the swing, the paranoia again. And this time there's not kills, but they punish.
And you were just talking about it. Like, look at how they're chaining their utility. Sky Flash, Omen Flash, off of contact, right? No value from it this round, but I mean, had G2 have been pushed up a little bit further, I mean, they're dead. So dangerous trap plays. But now G2 should have the confidence to hit this Omen site, understanding that he doesn't have that flash anymore. Well, that's not a factor.
They're trying to throw a little misdirection too. They just put the orb A and the wall up at the same time.
Cover going out. But there's a problem here, Doug. They're not breaking any of these trips.
Right. There's not enough to convince. As gunfire erupts in market, G2 walk away up.
I know exactly where you are.
Nice.
Seems alone on his site, manages to find safe passage out, but he decides to take the fight. I thought he was just gonna wait for his teammates. An ill-advised challenge leaves MIBR down in numbers.
I think they're still gonna go for this, Doug.
You've got the money. You've got the lead.
Viper ult as well. So much investment into this round from G2. And honestly, I'm not against it, Doug. Any type of round you can win. I don't care if it's 4v2. You got to commit your Viper ult to.
Yeah, you invest
At this point of the game, you just need a round win. You need some type of momentum going forward. And FRZ knows his job is just to get damage, but Net takes his head clean off. And a chance now to snowball for G2 with the ults they have.
They have ults, and they do have a little money to work with. We take a look at this again. It was a hold from VALORANT and Trent in market that set things up.
And it's just like I said, G2 aware that they got that Sky Flash out and that Omen Flash out. So now the second time around when they take that contact, they don't have to worry as much. They actually get a fair gunfight.
Here.
Those 50-50s that I was talking about, and they come out on top.
The op no longer in play, and now G2 turning attention A. Satchel on the right, the paranoia on the left, the Hunter's Fury.
What an ult.
Splitting things, getting a tag.
So close.
A little bit of damage done.
Oh, this is such a good spot for RGL. If they actually commit out of this elbow area, he should be good for one. Not a lot of people pre-aim this.
I like this from VALORANT though. Cutting noise, freezing the round.
I think he might be worried that maybe the Omen TP behind. They don't know for sure, right? He could be anywhere.
Well, they have a trip covering on both sides. We'll see if that position that you mentioned comes into play. That's where they're headed. Oh, he spotted the bow! JCC's there on the punish. Can Lee find any value with the ult? He finds one, pays for it with his life.
He falls on accident, Doug. But it doesn't matter. JCC killed VALORANT.
They have so much control now. G2 have been separated. RGL not able to land the shots. They get across. But will the numbers be the difference maker? Trent left alone, a 1v4, flash in his face. The swing is there, and the barrel too.
I mean, JZZ taking things into his own hands, solo aggressing onto Jonah P, and then wrapping all the way around elbow, killing the likes of VALORANT, who was sitting in that tiles area the entire round pretty much.
Match point.
It was his positioning that made me think that maybe they try to flip the map and rotate out, but
I mean, he's a monster on Sunset, man. Like, I don't know what is in I don't know what they feed this guy for him to perform like this on this map, but every time he's on Sky, he just seems to find immense value.
Yeah, he's insane.
Like, honestly, he basically solo won this round for them. I mean, Trent just had no idea, right? Like, he didn't see anything.
No, he had no shot. MIBR map point. G2 down 4, and again, the woes have continued since the first half.
I mean, this is a completely different MIBR than what we saw in the last match.
And honestly, a completely different G2 than what we saw at the beginning of this one.
Very true. It seems to be a reoccurring theme sometimes.
Oh, that's his head. Takes it right off. The flash on the other side. Again, JZZ taking matters into his own hands.
He's so insane.
This might be wraps on this. They've got the neural theft. They have a numbers advantage. G2 rotating away. Do they come back? They leave one.
Maybe trying to fake the timing. But Satchel's allowing Artson to get there fast. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Trent could find so much value, but narrowly missing the window. They're going to try to come back, but...
So smart from FRZ to take this aggro angle. He's already readjusting, though. Repositioning. Smoke on the
30
trip.
seconds left.
And FRZ here. They've
jump
gotten around it.
Where is this trip? That's a huge kill from Net onto his counterpart.
Trent there to hold. The second falls. Our team left alone. A relatively quiet map out of the duelists so far. And the opportunity to put G2 away here, but it's a big ask. And it's not happening this time around. And G2 gets 9.
And you said it, right? Trent in mid, allowing MIBR to see him, keeps 2 people there almost the entire round, right? And that allows G2 to make the rotation all the way back to B again. Artsy, the only person that truly made it to that A site there.
Spawn. Nice!
Trent doesn't even have to get any kills there. Just the presence alone to keep 2 people there, delay the rotations, play those mind games.
Early hit. And I like the setup here from the MIBR. You've got the pit B main, you've got the trip covering market. And because of that, they can really ignore that entire side of the map. Turn eyes towards mid.
Scout destroyed.
That's a lot of info gathered, Doug. That's a lot of info gathered. That dog made it a little bit too far for my liking. What does that cam see in mid? Is that a one-way? No, it's just in the open.
Thank you, observers.
And I think G2 are aware of this. I think they're deliberately hiding from that cam. Maybe they'll... Oh,
my eyes are down.
As I say that, Leaf. One taps it.
I think with that, that allows G2 a little bit more room to breathe there. There's no trip covering it either. Look at how far back RGL is. Look at how far back FRZ is too.
Oh no! An uncharacteristic whiff from Trent. He usually hits those. He had that.
Oh, Jonah P was ahead, but the cabbage got to him. So now they know where he is. I thought for a moment he was going to find a timing, but not the case. Leaf is on a similar mission.
Oh my gosh.
And FRZ cold with it. Not flinching at all. 13 seconds left. A 5v3. The spike just now making its way into the vicinity of the site. JZZ expecting Jonah P's antics. Leaving things in tatters and shambles for G2.
Valen has to go huge here. And this could be the moment.
He's behind him, but he knew it. Still gets a kill. 6 bullets left. Surrounded. Net in a 1v3 with Neural Theft Online. They're going to try to swing him, and they do so successfully. MIBR with a great response.
What a map from MIBR, Doug. Controlling the entire pace of that defensive side. Taking the fight to G2 most of the rounds. And the MIBR fans in the crowd are going crazy right now. G2 not yet out of it, but you can't help but feel like, after watching that Sentinels game, where did it all go wrong?
Yeah.
Maybe underestimating how MIBR would be into this series. It's JZZ again. How many times I gotta say this? 6 first bloods on Sky.
There's just something about Sunset. You're right.
There's just something about people with Z at the end of their name. FRZ, JZZ. What's up with these guys?
For G2, you're right. You kind of wonder where it all went a little sideways.
It's gotta be that 3v1, Doug.
It has to.
These situations just break them down as a team.
Sunset was their map, split on the other side. We're gonna step away. When we come back, the desk will break it all down.
Red Bull gives you wings.